Let's talk about how to find hidden treasure in plain sight, whether it's for your ITSP business or off the coast of Croatia from a shipwreck. What? I am here at ASCII Edge in Costa Mesa, California, and I am here with Ted Roller, the Chief Community Officer at ASCII Group, and Jimmy Gadomski, a shipwreck explorer. And we are here to talk about all things finding hidden treasure in plain sight. You guys are doing a session tomorrow. Let's talk about that. What can people expect from that, and what do you hope that they walk away with it?
Well, Jimmy and I talked about this a lot, and it was just interesting to me how much can be learned at the MSP level, at the IT level, about finding opportunity, doing the work behind creating opportunity, and really the community aspect of finding a shipwreck is very, very similar to the benefits that the community can provide to an MSP, and why it's important to be part of it.
And Jimmy, anything you want to add? What do you hope people take away?
We have a lot of shipwreck stories and a lot of stories in general just about being on the ocean, finding treasure, finding gold, discovering these shipwrecks, and many other things underwater. But also, there's a whole team that is involved in this that we need to bring together in order to just find this. It's not like we go out there and the ship is just laying on the ground for us. We need to do all the research and everything that backs up what we're finding and what we're looking for.
And I am very excited to get to the shipwreck questions. But before we do that, Ted, first, I want to congratulate you on your new role as Chief Community Officer at ASCII Group. Congratulations. What are some of your goals, and what are you going to bring to the role and to ASCII, for 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, so 40 years of ASCII making a difference for the community has created so much opportunity that we truly haven't taken advantage of to the fullest extent that we can. There are a lot of pillars and opportunities for a vendor-neutral trade association to make a difference in the MSP's life that we haven't done before. We're going to focus on the AI opportunities out there and what MSPs can do in order to create wins for themselves. We're going to focus on delivering value that extends beyond what we've ever done before, but is really about taking the headaches and the pain of being a business owner as well as an IT service provider just out of the mix, and makes it easier for them to make decisions. And then finally, we're going to upscale our community efforts and our support efforts so that ASCII can help MSPs make the right decision as often as possible and backed by the full strength of our membership.
So you talk about making the right decisions. Jimmy, I want to talk to you. Obviously, when you're looking for shipwrecks, there's a lot of that decision making that goes into that, right? You're like not looking for a needle in a haystack. Can you talk a little bit about how you explore for shipwrecks, what kind of technology you use, and like what's involved, and how did you get started in shipwrecks?
So I've always been interested in shipwrecks since I started diving. I started diving around 2003 or so, and shipwrecks have always been on the radar for me. So I was basically going out looking for different wrecks to dive after I was tapped out of everything that I was diving in my local area, and we would go and start exploring these further away sites. As we're doing that, now we're finding wrecks that are more off the beaten path, and we're going into deeper water. We need further training, further equipment to do so, and now we're using rebreathers to do this because we're going much deeper. Now that's the technology we're using in diving, but we're also using seafloor mapping tools, being multi-beam, side scan, and even magnetometers to kind of map the seafloor.
Now, what's the biggest shipwreck or the biggest hidden treasure you've ever found?
So the biggest treasure I found wouldn't only be a wreck, but it was the wing of the Space Shuttle Challenger.
Wait, you found the wing of the Space Shuttle Challenger?
Yeah, so we were filming for a documentary series called Bermuda Triangle into Cursed Waters, and we were not looking for the wing of the Challenger, but we had many different targets that we were after this day. And our last target of the day, they put me in the water solo just to go look at it because the water was very murky, like nothing you really want to dive in. And I go down and basically I'm looking at some kind of spacecraft, or aircraft rather, and it was different than aircraft that I'd seen on the floor before. And now I grabbed a few things off of it, brought it up, and come to find out, it turns out it was the wing of the Challenger.
I swear to God, you could have said, "Oh, I found a cannon from the HMS Longstocking from the 1850s," and I would have been impressed. The Space Shuttle Challenger. All right, Ted, we'll go back to you. So, kind of speaking of finding hidden treasures, what is some advice you have for ITSPs to find hidden treasure within their own organization, within their own team, within their own operations?
Wow, such a huge question. Everybody get your lunch out. We're gonna get going here. I guess my biggest advice to MSPs these days is to be deliberate. The opportunities for focus and deliverables and stepping up your game and making a difference for your customers are better than they have ever been, and they are going to become exponentially better than they have ever been over the next few years. The industry is changing. It has been in a constant state of flux for the last 30 years, but it is fundamentally changing. AI is changing the game. Our investment over the last 10 years in the IT channel and making the IT channel great and best it can be is shifting as well. And you have the opportunity to differentiate yourself, to pay attention to the value proposition you're delivering, and to make yourself a little more unique and a little more competitive in the space. If you just pay attention, a lot of what Jimmy and I talk about every day around the specifics associated with making everything work just right and being deliberate, as well as having a community around you that helps you get the job done, these things all matter. MSPs up to this point have leaned on their vendors in order to be successful. You still have to have the vendors in the mix. They're an integral part, but you also need to make your own decisions about what makes you a better business, and then you'll be successful and drive the next generation.
So, and you guys are going to be doing this session not just here in Costa Mesa at the first ASCII Edge event. You're going to be doing it at all 8 ASCII Edge events throughout the course of the year.
Absolutely. Right? I think we have a great story to tell, and I think everybody's going to want to hear it.
Right. So if you want to hear what they say, check events.ascii.com for all the dates and locations, and we'll come back to that. But can you talk a little bit about one of the things I'm so happy to be here, and GTIA is happy to be here, and to have a partnership with you guys, a really great partnership. Can you talk a little bit about the value that you get, what we get from working together, from working? One of the things I love is GTIA and ASCII both have the same goal, right? We're all trying to make IT service providers, MSPs, more successful. Can you talk about the value of bringing the best of both of our organizations together and how that's helping you guys?
Yeah, so Scott, I don't know if you know this, but I was on the board of directors.
I do know that.
For CompTIA a million years ago, and now it's morphed into GTIA, which I honestly think is a wonderful opportunity to get back to the grassroots of taking care of the community, being focused on it. GTIA or CompTIA has always focused on the broader issues and the broader opportunities to make the entire industry better, while ASCII has really focused on the individual deliverables of the MSP and their capabilities and bringing the vendors and the MSPs together. The two of those companies working on behalf of the MSPs every day creates really a tidal wave of value, and especially with the enhanced focus on the next generation of things to come, there's really nothing we can't do together if we work hard at it.
Great. And lastly for you, Jimmy, just what is one thing you're hoping for people to take away from not just this event, but from all your the ASCII Edge events for this year?
Well, I'm hoping to tell some good stories. I'm hoping that some of these stories will relate to real-world experiences that we could really use in businesses and in life, pretty much. And there's a lot of these stories that have many different outcomes, and I'm excited to share them.
Well, one of the things you were talking about earlier, just real quick, was what advice would you have, or how did you get started? It was just don't say no, right? So
some of the best advice that I could put out there would be, I've never said no to a job or opportunity or anything. I've always said yes. And I'd say going forward, if an opportunity presents itself, say yes, go for it.
Awesome, that's great. Jimmy Gadomski, Ted Roller, thank you very much. We'll be back very soon with more videos from ASCII Edge here in Costa Mesa for GTIA on location. And again, check events.ascii.com for all the events for ASCII Edge going forward for the rest of the year. Thank you very much.